Hello, it is December 31st at 8:45 in the evening. This is a reading for Grrrlriot. I used to be really into Riot Girl. I am now, just I guess found new cultural phases, so I can definitely appreciate the screen name. You wanted to know if you would be having a better year in 2015. I am using the traditional Raider White deck. Pretty traditional deck, and I'm using the 7-card spread. I really like this spread because it is a 7-card horseshoe spread, and instead of me hearing your question, interpreting it, and determining a card to represent you, the deck actually presents us a card, and this card will show us who you are and what your attitudes are on the situation. So the deck can give us insights into things that maybe you're not aware of or you're not willing to admit, but that you need to face. So I love it, and let's move forward. My first card is the past, and we pulled the 7 of Pentacles. And what I see here is in the past, you've worked very hard, and you've done well in life because of it. This could be financially if you haven't entered the career arena yet, if you're still in school. It could also mean that you worked very hard and you did well in school. Either way, whether you got the benefits of having a well-paying job or just the pride of recognition from a boss or teacher, you worked really hard and you deserved to kind of relish in that. The second card represents your present. This is a major arcana card, the Fool. The Fool is a great card, and I think it's one of the cards where the illustration is so clear as to what he means. Here we see the Fool. The sky is very bright and sunny. He's staring off. He's holding a flower. And look, he's heading off of a cliff with his dog. And what this card represents is the Fool is the naive person beginning a journey. And despite the risks or the perils or the cliffs on his journey, it's worth it to take the journey, to learn from the mistakes you may encounter, and just to fully experience life. So right now you're at the beginning of a journey, maybe a new phase if you were only in school. It's time to just get out there, experience life, and don't let your fears hold you back. The next card represents the hidden influences on the situation, and here we have the 7 of Cups. This card is interesting when we consider the Fool. The reason for that is it shows us that you have many options in front of you. The Cups here offer many options you can take. This card shows us you may have a tendency to, what is the word? I apologize, I'm pretty tired. Decide things on the spot. You think about short-term pleasures. What will gratify you in the moment versus thinking about long-term goals. What I see here, because this spread really is encouraging you just to go out and live life and experience it, all I would say is be aware of the fact that you may be more prone to short-term pleasure, and just be fully aware of that and watch and see what happens when you make those decisions. Maybe consider making decisions where you're basing them on the long term and see where that ends up. The next card is the card that represents you again. Here we have the King of Pentacles. And what this is showing me is that you are a very kind and generous person, and that you are very successful. That hard work has led to a financial success or will be leading to one in 2015. So that again really emphasizes what we saw here. The next card in the spread is another major arcana card. This represents, and this is the Moon, this represents what other people think about the situation. Other people do notice the fact, so this card can represent hidden influences, hidden meanings, things going on below the surface. And I'm going to return to this card. Whenever I get a card like this in this reading, I always think it indicates that we should focus on this card. People are aware of the fact that you don't always think things out. You're a little short-sighted. So again, just keep an eye out. Feel free to enter the journey and pursue those things, but be the Fool. Fully live those experiences and learn from them. The next card is advice, and here we have the High Priestess, and she represents tapping into, you guessed it, the unseen and hidden messages. So again, we return to this message. So while you are out being the fool, not literally on your journey, just keep an eye out for that short-sightedness, but also keep an eye out on what your intuition is telling you. Maybe you should tap into a spiritual path if you have one. If not, just focus on that gut feeling and don't forget it. And lastly, we have the final card. This represents the conclusion of the reading, the final chapter in the novel that is the reading. Here we have the Knight of Cups. This is a great end to the reading, and what this shows me is you have a new passion coming. I see you developing a new hobby, a new pursuit, something you're very passionate about, and maybe something a little indulgent since you love your short-term pleasures and since you're doing well financially. So I am seeing that the year 2015 will not necessarily be free of mistakes. The Fool is not free of mistakes, but it will be a year of learning.